Maintainability. Building systems or designing particular items so they can be maintained as needed. I've been thinking about this a bunch lately. Hi, I'm Carolyn Sherlock, and maintainability is today's topic on the Boat Galley podcast, the place for answers to your questions about the cruising lifestyle, or sometimes giving you answers to questions you didn't even know you had. This episode of the Boat Galley podcast is sponsored by Rainman Watermakers and Seatask. Rainman Watermakers are capable of producing up to 37 gallons of fresh, clean drinking water per hour from seawater. Portable and installed models are available, all with off-the-shelf parts and designed to be repaired and maintained by the average boat owner. Configurations are available in AC, 12-volt DC, and even a gasoline system, with new 2019 models being smaller, lighter, and quieter than ever. Seatask is the premier U.S. facility for Rainman Watermakers. Visit them at www.seataskgroup, that's SEATASKGROUP.com, and learn more. Okay, I certainly get that space is tight on boats, but shoehorning equipment into places or picking equipment without a thought as to how it will need to be serviced is just asking for trouble. Necessary maintenance won't be done if it's nearly impossible to do. Now, Dave and I have always prided ourselves on keeping our boat in great mechanical shape. She may not always be the prettiest boat with shiny bright work, but everything works. But man, sometimes designers make that hard. 3 things particularly come to mind. One we figured a way around, one caused an injury, and one was just hard as hell to work on. This isn't a rant. Honestly, it's not. It's more of a things to look at as you're looking at boats. Considering maintainability when comparing a couple of boats may make one suddenly look a lot better than another. An overall ease of maintenance will make your cruising much more enjoyable, both as the maintenance will take less time and things will work the way they should. So you're wondering, what are the 3 things? Well, first is our battery compartment. The battery compartment on our Gemini catamaran is just a pain. Batteries go in under the nav station, then are slid forward under another locker. To put batteries in, you have to sit on a step and then lift the batteries straight out in front of you. Not easy with something that weighs 50 to 70 pounds. Then, once they're in, if you've got lead-acid batteries that need water, that first one in is impossible to reach to add water. Literally impossible. The only way to add water would be to disconnect all the batteries, remove 2 from the battery compartment, and then slide the 3rd one out where it could be accessed. Then put them all back in and reconnect them. Not gonna happen on a monthly basis. We did get around the watering problem with a wonderful battery watering system that makes adding water to all of our batteries about a 5-minute job. I'm putting a link to that in the show notes. But if friends hadn't told me that such a thing existed, we would have had to go with AGM batteries. A few weeks ago, we upgraded to lithium batteries, and now we don't have to worry about watering. Period. Then let's talk about our engine compartment. I swear, the engine had to be installed, and then the cockpit installed around it. The sides of the engine are accessed by removing side panels to the engine compartment. Fine, except that to do any work, you have to lean in over a 1/4-inch piece of fiberglass that digs into your ribs. It still hurts after putting a pillow over it. And when Dave last went to change the zinc on the heat exchanger, he moved just wrong and badly bruised his ribs. There's a designer out there who never thought about how you'd get to many of the engine components. So you have to think about these things before you plunk down your money. How will you change the oil? The transmission fluid? Tighten the alternator belt? Change the alternator? Go right on down the list. The same for pumps, water hoses, and wiring. Can the headliner be easily removed to get to things hidden behind it? How about wall panels? And then there's our streaming light. Now, any light is going to need the bulb changed periodically. It's a given. And we all know that doing any work up the mast dramatically increases the difficulty. First, it can be hard to have any leverage or get to just the right spot. Screws and nuts can be dropped. And the smaller they are, the more likely that's to happen. And there's no table or work surface up there. You're usually using one hand to keep you in place, so there's only one hand for the work. Well, our steaming light was out. Seems simple enough. Just change the bulb. But guess what? To change the bulb, you have to remove the fixture from the mast, then remove 2 tiny screws from the back of it so that the lens can be removed. Actually, when you remove those screws, the lens just falls off. Hope you had your hand in just the right spot to simultaneously grab the screws and the lens. Again, this thing is sold as a masthead light. It's not like they didn't know someone would be in midair trying to change the bulb. I realize it has to be waterproof, but I think it could be designed a heck of a lot better. Okay, the bottom line. We like our Gemini catamaran, and part of its attractiveness is its price. And every time we discover something like this, we repeat, the Gemini was built to a price point. In other words, $5 here and there adds up, and choices were made based on cost. But maintainability was sacrificed. It's something to look at in comparing boats, and every used boat is different in what previous owners may have done, so you can't assume that all boats of the same make are good or poor. And it's important to note that most surveyors don't look at maintainability. If you're buying your first boat, you might want to specifically ask the surveyor their thoughts on access, or even pay a mechanic for their assessment. No boat will be perfect, but it's nice to know where the challenges will lie. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, please be sure to subscribe in your podcast app. Just search for the Boat Galley Podcast. And reviews are always appreciated. Until next time, then.